Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video. So I feel like it's been a while since I've actually done like a photography video, primarily just because of between the holidays and honestly the weather out here. There's not been too much that's been inspiring me to go and photograph anything, but I'm hoping that today's going to change that. So I drove about 2.5 hours away from Charlotte to this town called Brevard, which is kind of south of Asheville. And there's a waterfall near here in particular that I really want to go see, but for right now we're actually in the town of Brevard. We're going to walk around a little bit, just kind of see how much there is. I've never been to this town before, so I want to just kind of explore, maybe do some like street photography and just see what's here. So the first part of this is probably going to be just a mix of different things, and then later on we're going to go over to the waterfall, which I'm really excited for. It is pretty cold today, so I think the high is only going to be 30 degrees Fahrenheit, which for a lot of people is still pretty warm, but for out here that's quite cold, especially for me coming from California. This is cold. So I'm hoping that once we get over to the waterfall area, there's actually going to be some ice and maybe some frozen patches of the river or something. That could be really pretty, but at this point I don't know. So I've got the X2D with me today, and we're going to be wandering around and just kind of seeing what catches our eye. So I have no idea what the significance is, but there's these white squirrels everywhere in this town. So it's got to be something. I don't know if it's like a town mascot or something, but they're cute, but they're everywhere. I do wish the lighting was better right now, because things like this behind me and then these kind of back alleyways, I don't know why, but I love them. I really like photographing them, but everything is just in shadow, and I don't think that I can really get a decent composition right now. So I'll see what I can do. But yeah, lighting is making things a little bit tricky right now. I'm not sure what this once was. I really wish that the light was on it though. I don't know if I can get a really good composition of it, but it's cool. All right, well, I've walked around a little bit. I think I've kind of seen pretty much all that downtown has to offer. Obviously with a small town like this, there's not a ton, but it was great. It's a really cute area, so it was nice to kind of wander around a little bit. I think I got some interesting photos. We'll see what kind of happens with the when I go back and edit them. But I think at this point, I'm just excited to kind of get to the waterfall. So going to head back to the car and head over there. As I said before, I'm hoping that there's some ice or snow or something that could be kind of interesting. And if not, maybe just a pretty waterfall. Okay, so I haven't made it to the waterfalls quite yet, but I had to turn off and pull over because this is such a beautiful spot, and there's a bunch of icicles that I wanted to try to get a photo of. I just love how these are melting in the sunlight. So as I mentioned, I have the X2D with me today. While I was in town, I was shooting on the 55V lens, which is kind of like my favorite lens. And I feel like it works really well for like, you know, street photography and wandering around, just doing something like that. With me though, I also have the 90V and 28P lenses. So what I'm gonna try to do is actually toss on the 90V, because that almost works like a macro lens in a way. I'm not saying it's like a full-on macro lens. Obviously it's not. 90V is not long enough of focal length. However, the focal distance is very short, so you can actually get very close with the 90V lens and get some really amazing detail with the 100 megapixel sensor on this X2D. So we've got our 90V lens on here now, and we're gonna go photograph that. All right, so I think I got some shots that are going to work out from that. That was kind of what I was hoping for with such a cold day. We have got like a big polar vortex that's coming through the United States. Obviously, it's not hitting down here as hard as it is like up north, but this is one of the coldest days in the area that we've had for a while. So this was kind of exactly why I wanted to get out today. It's a bright, sunny day. There's not a cloud in the sky, but I was hoping it would be cold enough to try to get something like that. That would be a little bit interesting and unique to what I normally get to photograph it out in this area. I'm obviously really excited to see what these photos look like once I'm able to edit them. But one of the things that I love about the Hasselblad sensor is how much detail I can get. I just know from past experience that I'm going to be able to see a lot of detail in that ice that I wasn't really able to pick up just through the viewfinder. So I can't wait to see what that looks like now. Also, just on the other side of the road here from the Icicles, got the river. So I'm going to try to see if I can, try to get down here. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to or not, but there might be a shot or two down here too. So let's see how that goes. Okay, so I think there's a shot there, but I can't get it with the 90V lens. So I'm going to swap on the 28, see if I can get that. The water's really beautiful. It's really clear this time of year. So I want to see if I can try to get this shot. But honestly, if not, then I'll just kind of call it quits here and then move over to the waterfall. Haha, okay. So getting down is one thing. Getting down safely is entirely another thing. But I'm down by the river now. I don't know if there's a ton of compositions right now. Again, I think this would be absolutely stunning in like the summer or the spring when everything's in bloom and, you know, all the trees have foliage on them. It's very dead right now. So I think there might be a couple things that could be interesting. I think 28p is also a little wider than I normally like for kind of like shots like this. On the Hasselblad, the 28 winds up being close to like a 22. So that's a pretty wide angle, wider than I typically shoot, but there could be still some interesting things to get from it. So we're going to see what we can get. And again, if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. We'll just keep going on to the waterfall. Oops, almost slipped. Okay. All right, well, it is very beautiful down here, but I'm not finding a composition that I really like. There's one that may have worked out. We'll see. Yeah, I think we're going to pack up and then go up to the waterfall. Okay, so we've arrived at the waterfall. Interestingly, it just seems like there's no like parking. It's just kind of like you turn off the road and then the waterfall is like here. It looks like there's going to be a very small hike. It looks pretty close to the road actually. So trying to get my stuff together. I put the 55V lens back on the camera. So we're going to run with that for right now. Bring everything with. I brought my tripod and now I'm not sure if I want to use the tripod. Thankfully, though, there's like not a lot of traffic. I don't know why. Today's a holiday. It's actually Martin Luther King Day. So I have off from work, which is great. But it seems really quiet for like a long weekend. There's not a lot of people up here right now, which is great. I am going to bring the tripod because I brought it and why not? But again, it actually doesn't look like there's that many people here. So I'm hoping to be able to take my time and get some shots without anyone else. And that's the dream. That's the goal. We'll see how that goes. Actually, you know what? If you don't mind being in the photo, would you mind just standing back there? I love the color of your jacket with the water and everything. Actually, kind of right where you were, right in front of that rock there, and then just kind of look at the waterfall. Beautiful, thank you. There's the shot, though.
It turned out pretty good. Perspective is always nice to have.
Exactly, yeah. Well, thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. I feel like I got really lucky here today because there weren't that many people around, and those that were there really didn't stick around for that long. I basically had the place to myself, and it was really great to be able to compose the shots that I wanted without the concern of getting a lot of interference. I thought it was really great of that guy at the beginning to agree to be in my photo, and I think that he really made that shot. So while there are times that I like having humans in my photos, and that's actually something I've been working on lately, is trying to include more people in my shots, for a lot of the things that I was doing today, it just didn't feel quite right. Having this beautiful scene just as is without any people in it was definitely what I was after for the day. All right, well, I hope that you can hear me over all the noise. I'm actually really glad now that I brought that 28mm lens. I think I was able to get a couple wide, long exposures that I'm pretty happy with, at least from what it looks like on the camera. So I'm switching over now to the 90, and I'm going to try to get some close-up shots of some ice and some snow that's still here by the waterfall. Hopefully that will work out, but I'm really pleased, honestly. The conditions are pretty close to what I had hoped for, and they're certainly good enough that I think I've gotten some shots that I'll be happy with at the end of the day. Oh man, this is absolutely beautiful here. My hands are freezing though. I probably should have put on gloves. I have gloves with me, but I couldn't manipulate everything the way that I kind of wanted to with the camera and everything. It's fine. It's really, really stunning here. I'm really happy that I was able to get here and get some shots. The lighting isn't the best, so I'm hoping that I can kind of do some things in editing with like fixing it up somehow that it still looks interesting. Unfortunately, I think to get the lighting like on the waterfall, I would have had to get here at like really, really early, like right when the sun came up, and that just was not going to happen. So kind of make the best with what we have, but the scene itself is absolutely stunning. I'm really glad that there is some ice. I was hoping that there would be. So I think that I've got some shots that I'm going to be pleased with. So overall, a successful day, I hope. All right, well, I'm putting on gloves. My hands are warming up finally. Being that close to the waterfall and having all that, the mist and all the water get all over your hands, your camera, and everything else. Whew, that was getting cold. Anyway, I found a nice little sunny spot to kind of warm up for a second. But this is a really beautiful place. If you are near this area of North Carolina, near like Asheville, this is near Brevard. I highly recommend this. This is Looking Glass Falls. The nice thing is that there's like no walk at all to get to here. I actually thought there was going to be more of a hike, and there really wasn't. So you kind of drive up. You can actually see the waterfall basically from the road, which is great. So you don't even have to really get out of the car. But coming down here and being at the river level, being able to set up a tripod and get some shots. Again, glad I brought the wide angle lens, glad I brought the tripod, glad I brought the ND filters. I know that, you know, long exposures of waterfalls are kind of cliche. I get it. But at the same time with the ice, it's something that I haven't really captured before. So it was something that I was still excited to be able to try to get today. Oh, I'm feeling back in my hands again. That's great. While I'm interested to see what kind of happens with some of the editing on the photos, I can tell you from experience with the X2D, I'm pretty sure that a lot of the stuff that I got will work because of the way that Hasselblad does their color science. The HNCS, Hasselblad Natural Color Science, or color solution, Hasselblad Natural Color Solution. That's it. It is by far my favorite kind of coloring rendition of anything that I've seen from other cameras, even before any editing. So I am pretty confident that I have gotten something at least that is usable, that I'll be happy with. And again, even though the slow motion waterfall is kind of a cliche shot, I still think that it was a really beautiful scene, and especially with the ice and the snow, again, like I said, something a little bit different from what I'm able to normally get in this area of the world. So the other thing I wanted to test with this was if the Hasselblad could handle some cold weather. Obviously I brought it with me to Morocco, so I knew it could handle heat. And while this isn't terribly cold, it is still freezing temperatures. And yeah, I mean, obviously it's done totally fine. So I don't at this point have any plans to test it in actual freezing conditions, like, you know, Arctic weather or anything like that. But maybe that could be up next for a travel adventure. I'm not really sure at this point. As of now, to be honest, I'm not sure if this is going to kind of wrap up the day or not. It's still early. It's a beautiful day out, but I think I got what I want from this scene at least. So I might drive around a little bit more. And if I do get any other shots or anything else, I'll continue to update. And if you're curious, I'm going to have some links for my gear down in the description below. On the way back into town, I wound up stopping off at this really pretty area that had this bridge over this river. So there is just a bit more to this video. However, I wanted to take a moment and just say that while this video is not sponsored, the links down below are affiliate links. What that means is that there is no additional cost to you, but by using those links to pick out any gear that you might like, I do receive a bit of a commission either through Amazon or from B&H Photo. And really all that does is just help support the channel and allow me to keep making videos like this, especially since none of my videos are currently monetized. So if you see any gear of mine that you like in the video, hopefully there's a link for it down in the description, and if not, please let me know in a comment down below, and I'll be happy to reply back to you with a link for that gear. Anyway, back to the video. Alright, well I stopped off to try to get some shots of this bridge. I passed it on the way up to the waterfall and I just thought it was kind of neat. I don't really know if any of them worked out that great, but yeah, at this point it is getting a little bit later. The light is definitely fading, but it was nice just to stop off and spend some more time in this area. If you're new here, please consider subscribing. I'm really close to getting to 1,000 subscribers, and that would be fantastic to hit that milestone, so thank you again for the support. Otherwise, I think that's going to do it for this week's video, so thank you again for watching. I hope that you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one.